problems scoring goals, and we're having problems creating chances. So I want to try and do some things to help us get that ball into places where we can just, at the very least, create more chances. I mean, finishing obviously is something we have to work on too, but at this point we're not even really creating chances, so we want to try something to do a little bit different. Okay? So we said we want to switch ourselves to 4-4-3. Okay? In the back, we'll pretty much stay the same in the back. Okay? 2 center backs, right? Okay? 2 outside backs. I labeled them WB here because I want them to be a little bit more like wing backs. Right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. Okay? 3 guys in the middle, right? 1 holding midfielder, 2 like center midfielder, attacking kind of midfielders, right? And then 3 guys up on the top, right? Right wing, left wing, center forward. Good? Okay. So let's talk about some advantages and disadvantages, right? You guys played it the other day. What are you thinking? What did you notice when we were playing it? I know we only played it for like a half an hour one time, but is there anything?
Options to go like to goal,
Okay.
more chances.
So we're definitely moving people forward, right? So we have more people committed to that forward spot. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that that's where they only play forward and they're only playing offense, but we have them in more advanced positions, right? What are some other things that we noticed while we were doing this? What are we going on?
We played more out to the sideline.
Okay, we played more out to the side, and that actually was one of the things too, that one of the weaknesses of playing this way is, you know, this spot here and that spot there, we're leaving kind of exposed, right? But Colin, like you said, our style of play, what did we do a lot more? We played it wide, but we played it wide to somebody who was running into that space, right? You know, we're playing it, right? If that's the ball, right, we played it more out to the space for this guy who's running forward as opposed to an outside midfielder who's kind of already standing there, right? But because we don't have anybody specifically specifically assigned to that spot, we have to make sure that we work collectively to defensively cover up that spot, yes? Okay? So, from that standpoint, you know, we have more guys committed forward, right, offensively. We're leaving our flanks a little bit exposed, but in the middle now, right, we have a triangle that we kind of want to keep intact, which should make us, you know, strong through the middle, and then you add the 2 center back guys in there. Hopefully it's hard for them to penetrate through the middle of that space, right? So, defensively, we're not changing anything really about how we play defensively, and we've talked about like defensive priorities, right? What's our number 1 defensive priority? Pressure on the ball, right? Pressure on the ball is our number 1 defensive priority. Now, Turk, I think you kind of mentioned when you wrote me a message the other day that sometimes, where'd you go? There you are. Sometimes in these wide spaces, pressuring the ball gets a little confusing, yes? Okay? Because we don't really have anybody assigned there. The one thing we have to do is make sure that we're not getting caught up in whose job is this or whose job is that, right? Our number 1 priority defensively is to pressure the ball. I don't care who does it, let's just make sure we get it done, right? So when we go and pressure the ball, what are we trying to do as we pressure the ball? Make play predictable, right? Meaning we're trying to force the ball where pretty much? Outside, corner, or if that's not an option, where would be like a third option where we want them to play it? Backwards, right? They can play it backwards, that's okay for us. Right? So, pressure ball, right? After we pressure the ball, right? Then our cover comes in, okay? And once again, here's where we have to sort of get out of the mindset of, okay, whose job is it to cover? I don't care whose job it is. It's the person's job who's closest, right? If they get somebody in this space, right, with the ball, I don't care if this guy goes to pressure, or if this guy comes to pressure, or if this guy comes to pressure, or if it's close enough, even our forward guy can come to pressure, right? We talked about that because these wide spaces are a little bit open, this guy and this guy need to share that space a little bit, yes? Okay? So this guy might have to come back maybe a little bit farther than a forward really would. And this guy might go forward a little bit more than a back would in a normal kind of system, or how we've been playing up until this point. Okay? Good so far? Right? All right, so let's talk then, okay, so pressure, cover, right? And then our third one, balance, right? Try to keep us balanced defensively, where we're not just running around with, like chickens with our heads cut off, but trying to keep some kind of shape, right? Miller, you playing this middle spot, or Turk, you might play that spot too, or Bernie, you might be in that spot too, right? If you or the center midfielder come to balance, or come to pressure, the third guy kind of needs to sit in that space. We can't have all three of you come over here to try and pressure the ball, because now, what have we done? There's a big hole right in the middle of the field, right? So that's sort of the balance idea, right? Here, if this guy's pressuring the ball and the holding midfielder's marking, right? One of our center backs could come in to cover that space. But if that center midfield or that center back's coming to cover the space, right? This guy's got to tuck in. He's probably got to mark too, and then this guy's got to tuck in, right? Because now, if they switch the ball, this guy needs to get out there. If he's chasing somebody all over the field, now we've left that space wide open with nobody to get into it. Right? Danny, go ahead.
What's the Ajax look like?
Holding midfielder. That's like it's one of our center midfielders, but a little bit more assigned more defensively, you know? Okay. Are we good defensive responsibility then? Right? Priorities don't change. So one thing we have to make sure, and Turk, I'm not blaming you, I'm just saying, like, you know, it doesn't really matter whose job it is. Let's just make sure we get it done, right? But still making sure that we have pressure on the ball first, we got the cover, and then we can maintain our balance after that. So that might be people switching some roles a little bit, you know? If this center midfielder comes over to pressure the guy with the ball, that might mean this guy sort of has to tuck back into that space. Or this guy might have to tuck back into that space to maintain some of our balance. Good there? Okay. All right. Offensively, let's talk about what we want to try to do offensively. Okay. Yes, ultimately, yes. Okay. So, we talk about that we've really sort of assigned these three guys to more offensive positions. We just talked that they might have to come out and help defensively, but we've assigned them to more offensive positions. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean that we just ping the ball as far as we can every time we get the ball. Okay. We're still trying to work that, hey, let's possess the ball a little bit, but then when we possess the ball, like we've discussed, what are we trying to do with possessing the ball? Why do we want to try and possess the ball? Draw pressure, right? To draw the defense in. Then we can look to hit that ball long into a space where defenders have gone. Okay? So, we talked about, Colin, you talked a lot about the fact that we played this ball out into the outside space, right? Okay? So this guy's got the ball on his foot. Okay? Let's go through his progressions here. Okay? First, not that guy, this guy. Okay? Our outside forward on that side, he's the widest guy there. And as we talked about, if this guy's got the ball, right, how many options do we want him to have? At least two, right? Ideally, three, right? So, this guy, right, needs to be that wide option. We talked about, we've been working on a little bit in those small side stuff, our angle of support, right? If we can get that guy wider, it's harder for defenders to cover it. And then that means this center forward guy has to come and be the deep option, right? We should always have a center midfielder showing as an option, right? And then that gets us here. There's our diamonds. 1, 2, 3. Now, yeah, we've got all these options, but let's talk about where we play the options, or what's our progression, okay? If either one of these two guys is covered, if either one of those two guys is open, let's play him the ball, okay? Let's get that ball up the field as quickly as we can to this guy, or we can play it to this guy over here, okay? If we play the ball over to this guy, right? Now let's adjust a little bit, right? Work off the ball and give that guy his three options. Yes? Okay? Now, Once we do that though, right, this is gonna start happening, yes? Okay? That's where this guy comes in. Once we've possessed the ball, now hopefully we're drawing defenders where this guy has a lane to run into. I know these guys are here in the picture, but ideally we work those guys out, right? This guy's run, right? He can't be making the run into this space here. If we play the ball from here to here, is that advantageous for us getting the goal? No, we just put ourselves into a corner, right? This guy has to be patient and make sure that when we play the ball, he can still get it so that he can take it to goal, right? So, if we're looking at it, right, right? If he gets past this line, now when he gets the ball, now when he gets the ball, where is he going to be running towards?
The corner.
Corner, right? So he needs to hold this run up outside the goal so that when we play the ball here, he can get it and now he can take it to goal that way. Does that make sense? That backside guy has to be a little patient, right? Making sure that we're not crowding this side of the field. Because like we've talked about, if defensively, if we're playing defense, and the other team wants to send 5 guys into this space 20 yards from the touchline, does that really matter to us? No, right? Who cares if they want to send all these guys over here? Defensively, we just keep the ball over there, right? So we can't do the same thing offensively. We have to make sure that we maintain our balance offensively so that when we play that ball into space, we go there, okay? So that wing back coming up, he's got a forward option, right? He's got this forward option, this guy on the side, this guy in the middle. Yes? Okay? If those 3 guys are covered, right? If we have marks on these guys, what's he doing now? Now we're trying to play that ball one time to that guy on the backside. Okay? Does that make sense? All right? These 3 in the middle. Okay? We're holding possession, right? But then, after we get a little bit of possession, now we play it out into that space, right? Miller. Good. Alright, so the other day, you were doing a good job of playing that ball into these wide spaces. When you got it, too many. You were doing a good job of playing the ball into those wide spaces so that our outside backs can run onto it, right? That's what we want you guys to do. 1, 2, boom, knock it out to the side. 1, 2, 3, boom, knock it out to the side. Okay? Good there? Questions? Problems that came up the other day? Or have we not really played it enough to work out all the kinks? Okay, that's fine. Okay, go ahead.
I thought the right left wing weren't getting wide enough and helping back enough.
Okay, you didn't think that was happening?
No.
Okay, so that's one thing, yeah, that I wanted to make sure that when we get back out in the field, we work on. That these guys, right, if the ball is on your side, right, so this guy here now, okay, he's got to come out here and be a wide option. We're not looking to hit this guy running, we're not looking to hit this guy running into space, okay? At least not on the first touch. If the center forward comes across, right, and we play the ball to him, now we can play that guy running into space like that. But we can't look to just hit it to him one time, because as the ball comes out wide, like, if we have our middle guys, we hit it out here, right, what are their defenders going to start doing? If we play the ball to our left side, their defenders shift to the right, shift to their right side, which is our left side. So this long ball from here to here, that's really not what we're looking for. That's why this guy here, if he plays the ball, he's got to play some feet. Or if the feet aren't on, now we play it over here, because all of these guys have started going this way. Yes? Okay. Other questions you guys have? Are we good? At least as far as conceptually what we're trying to do? Okay. Defensively, like I said, let's not get caught up, let's not get hung up in, whose job is this, whose job is that. Let's just make sure we take care of our priorities defensively. Okay. Good then?